Salida, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jim and welcome to this Timo written Sounds German review of the new Lina album R3bellin. Lina Larissa Strahl is a bit of a German phenomenon. The 20-year-old starred in the German hit movie Bibi and Tina, which blossomed into a full franchise of overall 4 films, playing one of the lead roles. She did voice acting for Disney movies and put out 3 music albums selling over 1 million units with her music. All the while she finished school with an university entrance diploma. And all that in the past 5 years. Her third full-length album is called R3bellin, appropriating the 3 in the title fittingly, and comes only 2 years after her debut album. With that many projects and rapid release rate, one has to wonder, does the quality suffer under the sheer quantity? Lina makes modern, youth-oriented pop music. And of course she couldn't put out such a workload just on her own. She has a huge team behind her with managers, songwriters and producers. It's 2018 and everybody knows you need to deliver new stuff fast so you can stay relevant and keep your place in the spotlight. Her album R3bellin is proof of that. These 15 tracks were composed by 5 different people. At least Lina did write the lyrics for around half of the songs herself, and you can't make out a dip in quality between her own lyrics and the lyrics that were written for her. The music on R3bellin is your typical electronic pop music. Upbeat, energetic, catchy, dynamic and sometimes enhanced with organic instruments. Like for example a western style played guitar in the eponymous title track, a flamboyant trumpet in the song Hype or a basic piano in Wir waren hier. There are also quite a few tracks that feature an acoustic guitar prominently, which instantly give these songs a warm, uplifting feeling. But the songwriting is overall too predictable and the songs oftentimes reuse structural ideas from each other. The bridge on Limit, for example, is basically the same as the one on Hype. But on the other hand, the album surprises with somewhat edgy hooks in a couple of songs. Generally, the hooks feature a thick wall of sound, mostly by use of electric guitars in combination with more aggressive electronic elements. Sometimes the guitars are played in a traditional upbeat rock style, sometimes in a more cold, hard rock way, while never being so aggressive or extreme to leave the cuddly, radio-friendly mainstream bubble. But nonetheless, this, well, let's call it carefully crafted harshness is indeed a great addition to the sound corset of this album. You could say Lina blends different styles together here, sounding a bit like a more mature, pop-focused version of former German teen music starlet La Fee, mixed with a bit of Materia style of delivery and some influences from Norwegian duo Biro Baby, especially their song Darkness of Sunshine, although in a very watered down and way less unique version. Lina's voice, on the other hand, is in my opinion one of the low points of this album. Granted, her voice has a little bit of color to it and a healthy amount of charisma, but her vocal range is incredibly limited. Especially when she tries to reach higher registers, you can basically see the sound engineer working like crazy just to make her voice sound even acceptable. But for better or worse, Lina delivers the lyrics mostly in a mixture of spoken words and rap. And I mean rapping in big quotation marks here. More like your mainstream girly pop rapping. Singing can basically only be found in the hooks. The lyrics themselves are fine, considering the target audience of this album, which would be teenage girls between, I guess, the age of 10 and 20 years tops. You will find funny songs, some serious songs, a lot of cheeky ones with thoughtful lyrics that are a solid mix between adult and youth slang. I have more of a problem with the general lyrical theme of this album. In fact, I do have several problems with this album when it comes to the themes and messages. First off, I can't really see anything on this album that screams rebel except for the title. Lina herself admitted in an interview that she only wants to rebel a tiny bit, like the listener is not only supposed to think for themselves, but also voice their opinions, but also never really act in a rebellious way, because that would go too far. In fact, besides a measly 2 songs of the 15 on this album, the tracks have no relation to anything rebellious whatsoever. The album contains a very generic selection of themes like love, lost love, that we should not bitch about our first world problems, about people that are willingly a puppet just to stay famous, about the pressure an artist has to endure while thinking of songs and ideas to write. All this has been done before, and it has also been done to death. And I couldn't help myself but think it's somewhat hypocritical of Lina to speak out against artists that would publish everything just to stay famous, because I feel that applies to her perfectly. A whole bunch of people wrote 3 albums in 3 years for her, including the lyrics. Or what about the song Glühbirne? In this song, Lina writes about the enormous expectations she has to fulfill, like finding a good theme that the majority of the listeners can understand and identify themselves with, coming up with good rhymes, metaphors, big emotions and a catchy hook without the song turning into Schlager. She writes about how she needs hits, needs to get into the charts, and lyrics that are somewhat smart without any provocational material in them. So she dislikes artists that are just puppets and go after mainstream appeal, but she herself is a prime example of such an artist. When it's your main goal to get into the charts and deliver an album that the masses would like and that is without any edges, just to ensure you don't step on any toes, then you are nothing but a puppet of the industry. Because of this song, Glühbirne is my favorite one on the whole album. And it's also the reason why I can't take Lina serious as an artist, to be honest. But in the end, who really cares about the lyrics in this kind of pop music and in this target audience? At least Lina stays away from delivering an innuendo-filled album and refrains from acting as some kind of forced artificial sex symbol. So I guess she has that going for her. The whole album rushes past you with light speed, last but not least also because it's slightly below 45 minutes of overall playtime. 9 out of 15 songs don't even reach the 3-minute mark, which is fine by me per se. Most songs are so energetic, fast-paced and simple in theme that they don't need to be any longer. The songs show their musical idea with a high degree of catchiness to them, combined with a simple and quickly explained message. The tracks instantly get in your ears, but leave as soon as the next one starts. I'll be honest here, I think Lina's first 2 albums were pretty awful. R3bellin, on the other hand, is a step in the right direction. But Lina still has a long way to go to be taken seriously as an artist and to reach an adult crowd. But I see the potential in her 3rd album here, and I can understand what the hype is all about. So, as a conclusion, R3bellin is a mixed bag. On the one hand, it's your typical pop album aimed at a younger audience. It's predictable, oftentimes generic, Lina's voice is in dire need of improvement, the songwriting is very simple, and chances are you won't find anything on this album that you've never heard before if you listen to some music before. But on the other hand, the music is quite enjoyable too. Nothing special, but catchy, energetic, and with a nice dynamic and well-written lyrics at times. The production is also great. Meaty and rich, crispy, very stompy even. This album is like a well-educated, well-behaving teenage girl that went to her first party where she stayed an hour longer than her parents allowed her and she drank her first beer. And now she lays in her bed and dreams of being a badass rebel, even though she knows deep down she will never be a real rebel. And I say, let her dream. Let her dream and let the fans of Lina dream and let Lina herself dream of being a world-changing rebel. There is no harm to it, even if it's fake. I've heard way worse pop albums, even though R3bellin is average at best. Fans from Lina, lovers of energetic pop music and fans of artists like La Fée will like this album for sure. But if you like your pop music with some substance, you should probably skip this one. So, I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, leave a like for the video or just subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and want more reviews for bands and artists you have probably never heard of before. If you have listened to the album, let me know with a comment what you thought about it, and if you want to check it out now, you can find all the relevant links in the description below. You can also find my social media accounts linked there. If you want to check out some random music, I do post at least one music video per day there. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you again next time. Have a nice day. Salida.